guys, welcome to my rant after today's game. I think if we start off with the match, we probably did deserve to lose. We had less possession, Leeds had more chances. We probably had the biggest chances of the match, but we couldn't convert them. Their keeper made some great saves to stop it. And if we look at that into more detail, I think it just shows we need a striker. I think also as well, if we had Brewster playing with Burke today, it could have been a different story. I think we could have scored a goal. I think as well as McGoldrick is and as how well he creates chances, if we had someone throughout the pitch today with pace, it could have been a different story. It could have been more of an outlet for us. You know, Burke did have pace, but I feel like if he had someone else with him who had even more, it could have really helped us today. I feel looking over the game, Leeds were the better team first 20 minutes. Then we started to have some chances and we were the better team until half time. Then after half time, they were probably the better team once again. But throughout the second half, we did have a few chances as well. We've also got to remember Leeds are a very good team. They've improved a lot since the last time we played in the Championship. You know, they've invested and improved a lot of their players. In terms of improving our squad though, like everyone knows, we need a striker with pace, someone who gives us an outlet. I also think we could do with a bench box-to-box midfield player. When we look at the game today as well, box-to-box midfield role is something which requires a lot of energy. But when we saw once Norwood came on and Berg had to move to Lindstrom's position, he was already tired as it was once he moved there, let alone when he finished the game. So I think for a position which requires so much energy, it'd be good to have someone who's a natural in that position and also who's fresh off the bench. We then have a lot of tricky fixtures coming up. We have Arsenal away, we have Fulham at home, we have Liverpool away, we have Man City at home and Chelsea away. It's not what you want after 3 defeats in a row. I'm surprised no one said at the start of the season, but I personally did think that we had a very tricky start to the season. We've also got to remember the Premier League, there's no easy games, especially for a team that's not in the top 6. But we've just got to make the most of our games. We've got to try and get something out of these fixtures that are coming up. Granted, they're very tough. We've also got to make the most of this Fulham game. You know, as it stands, it looks like they're going to be a team which can be fighting for relegation like us this season. And although it's early doors, every point counts, and especially coming into the season, it could be a very important game looking back at it. And then the last negative is Jack O'Connell being injured for the rest of the season. Not what we want, a big player for us, but we're just going to have to move on and adapt. Moving on to the positives now, carrying on from that actually, I think Robinson had a very good game in O'Connell's role. He fitted in very nicely. He also has a nice throw on him. I think Ramsdale also had a great game, which was good because a lot of people have been slagging him off recently. I think it's due to panic about Dino and seeing him leave, but it's good to see that he's had a good game. I know he was busy, so it's a bit easy for keepers, but we can all admit he could do nothing about the goal. It was a good header from Bamford, and I think Mpadu also had a good game. He was very solid, ran out from defence very confidently. If we can have him in this season doing that, would be very good for us. I don't know if Egan comes back, whether he'd be playing in the Egan role or because of the way he runs out confidently, if he'd be replacing Basham throughout the season. He thought Sanderberg was our best player today. He looked so good on the ball, created so much, and when he ran in his stride, he was so powerful. No one was ever stopping him. Then Burke as well, he was very good up front. He created a good outlet for us. A bit like the Villa game, didn't have much to go on, but created a lot of chances and was very good on the ball. Sharp, another player which when he came on didn't do that much, but won some free kicks and looked a physical presence, and he was unlucky with a shot at the end where it got blocked. Lastly, McBurney, been given a lot of criticism, but I think he proved his worth today, and he didn't have much to go on like Sharp, but he did well in what he did. That about does my rant. I think this season, if we aren't to get Brewster, it could be quite a tricky one. We need goals. I think McBurney and Burke will give us goals this season. I'm very impressed with them so far. But in terms of other strikers, I think McGoldrick gives us creativity, but as we know, he only got us 2 goals last season, so he's not going to give us many. Sharp, I don't see him starting many games. He's very good as an impact sub. He's done very well so far and coming off the bench, but same again, not a starter. So I think if we need goals, which we do, Brewster's the man for us. Otherwise, we could be having quite a tricky season this year. Now, guys, I know I've sounded very upset and very negative during this, but I just wanted to get my point out there. I think now that I've had time to reflect on it, I'm a bit more optimistic about our season. I do think that even though I said we could be in a relegation fight, I think as long as we get Brewster or a similar striker as Caliber, we should be comfortable this season, but we'll just have to wait and see. I trust Wilder. I think as long as he stays and Alan Neil stays as well, we should be fine. I just think that it's a tough start. We've got to remember, Wolves are a very good team. I know they sold some of their players, but they still were very strong against us. Villa, I think we could have got something out of if it wasn't for the stupid red card. I think today was a sort of game where when it's a Yorkshire derby, it can go either way. So even though we did have less of the chances, it did look like we could have snuck something from the game. So if you look at it from a different perspective, we could have got 4 points from this and it would have been a very different season or a very different start to the season. And it would have been a bit easier going into those tough run of games that we do have. But we've got to keep our heads up. We're all Blades, aren't we? We've got to remember, Lenz have just lost 2-0 to Bristol City. They're a minus point, so it's not all bad. There's still some positives to take from the world. We just got to keep our heads up. We've got to keep them going, guys. Up the Blades, come on.